This is Tim and Mandy. Say hi to them.
Hello.
I asked these guys to join us on the couch today. In the midst of all that we're doing at camp, we're super aware of gigantic needs in families, right? And in the lives of children. And a lot of the kids that are at our camp are from what you'd call normal, homogenous, whatever homes. A lot of kids are in our camp that are from divided families or blended families, and some of our kids that come are adopted as well. And so we've got every mix match, every kind of thing you can imagine. And I just thought it would be timely and important for us to talk to these guys. They've adopted several children, and I want to talk about that a little bit. But take us back in time. A long time ago, it was like, hey, I think we'll adopt several children. That's not how it happened, was it? Like, give us a little bit of the story.
Okay. Well, it was 2009, and I'm a little more hard-headed, and I like things calculated and planned and prepared and simple, sort of straightforward, predictable. And sometimes it makes it difficult for God to get a hold of me. So he started with Mandy.
Yeah, I just, I don't know, I felt the stirring too for adoption, but as Tim said, he didn't agree. And so I think it was a year just praying before God got to Tim. Derek Laux was actually up here preaching, and that's kind of when it said, like, this is something we were supposed to do.
So you're praying along, Tim. Finally, crusty old Tim breaks down a little bit. Then what happens? Give us a little bit of the journey.
So then we started Ethiopia. That was what we were planning on doing, and we got accepted into that program, and we got the packet in the mail, and I just felt like it wasn't right. And so I had to go to him and say, no, we're not doing this now. And he's like, what? Because it was change. And
I have a plan.
Yeah. And but we had actually reached out to several adoption agencies in St. Louis, and they pretty much said, well, you have 4 biological children, so you probably won't get picked by a birth mom. You don't really have a need. And so it wasn't really because we wanted more children. It was to help save children. And so I was just searching on the internet and actually emailed a lady and had no idea that it was Derek's sister-in-law, Tracy. And she emailed me back and said, oh, there definitely is a need. And she's a consultant, so we hooked up with her and did our home study in record time. Like, my caseworker said, like, is there a baby, like, waiting for you? And I said, well, yeah, we don't know who it is yet, but there's one waiting.
There's one out there.
And we got matched with Emily's birth mom, I think within the first week or two. And Emily was born 6 weeks later, so it went really fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. I want to go back a step, though. What was the motivation? You said we didn't really need more children. We wanted to save children. Talk about that thing. What was God doing inside of you?
I should probably hand the mic back to Mandy. Wow. You know, I guess he just put it on our hearts. You know, we each have a baton to carry in this race of life. And, you know, it was the baton that God was handing us. And so he wanted to rescue children. And he loves his children. And, you know, sometimes it's not the strong, it's the willing. And we said yes.
And well, with Emily, we specifically prayed for a baby that was headed for abortion.
Wow.
We'll take it. And actually, we found out that Emily's birth mom had 2 previous abortions. But she told me, because I was with her in the room when Emily was born, that she couldn't do it this time, and she can't figure out why. And I told her it was because we were praying for
Wow,
Emily.
man. That's awesome. That is awesome. So, yeah, you can clap. One was not enough. And just tell us about the journey, just continuing on.
Sure. Yeah, so one wasn't enough. I remember distinctly I was at work. I was talking to someone. I was like, we adopted Emily. And I was like, God, like, this isn't it. I can just tell this isn't it. But we really didn't know what that meant. So we went into foster care, and we became foster parents, and we had a foster baby. And then we had her for about a year. And about after that year, then they asked if we would take another foster baby. And we said yes, and so we now we have a 1-year-old. Actually, we have a 2-year-old, Emily. We have a 1-year-old, Natalie, and we had Reese, who we brought home from the hospital. His mom, he was addicted to drugs, so he went through a lot of withdrawals and a bunch of other issues. But so we just kind of continued on with that. And Mandy might have a different story with this, but I wasn't there looking for like, okay, this is the one I'm going to adopt. But then after a couple years with Reese, then it became really a heart issue of like, man, we love this kid, we want this kid. And God, again, we're willing and able, and so we are adoption ready. I mean, we're in the foster care system, we're adoption ready. All of our sort of paperwork is in place, and I had settled with God. I said, all right, I am good for 6 kids. I'm ready. Give us, we'll take a 6th kid. And so he did. He gave us Sophia. And so while we were still fostering Reese, the Noeths lived across the street from a lady whose daughter was pregnant, and she wanted to adopt out her baby, but she didn't really want to go through an agency. And so we hired, like a birth parent counselor for her to kind of go through the process. But so we met her, and she said, I would like to give you my baby if you'll take her. And so
Wow.
We said yes. And so we had 6. And then we had 7. Yeah. And see, God's sneaky like that. So he knew that he was going to give us Reese, but because I had 6 in my heart, if Reese came first, I might have shut the door. So God knew.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I want to take us down a little bit of a different path. But first, let me just say this, is that how many of you hear the heart of God, of wanting to rescue, wanting to embrace, wanting to pull in his beloved, right? The little ones are his beloved. Tim and Mandy are his beloved. He wants to get a hold of us, and he wants to demonstrate his love to us. And that's such a phenomenal thing, and that your guys' hearts were open. I just so applaud you guys. Here's what I think. I think life is a Hallmark movie. And so you adopt, and we live happily ever after because we rescue the child, now happily ever after. But there's challenges post all the paperwork, isn't there?
Yes. Yes. I mean, lots of challenges emotionally and physically, and just even with each adoption, it had its own challenge where, Reese was a fight pretty much. It took 3 years to adopt him. And we had to hire our own lawyer and do it ourselves. The state was still not going to TPR, so that was a battle. So when we got Sophia, I said, okay, well, we'll just, this will be easy. And that wasn't, it ended up with, for a moment, we thought we'd have to give her back. And yeah, it was a battle. But then also raising children who are adopted is difficult because they deal with feeling like they're not wanted, and then you have a whole bunch of behavioral or other kind of issues that were passed on from their birth family that you don't exactly know how it's going to play out in the house. And so, yeah, it's challenging.
How many of you know raising any child is not a picnic, right? What's that? Isn't there a book like Parenting is Not for Cowards or something? Donna always tells me that. And so then you've got, the additional things that come along with all of that. There are people out here right now thinking, man, I wonder if I should do that. I wonder, what would you say to them? Not like, yes, go do it or don't do it, but what would you say to them? How would you counsel them about just taking whatever next steps that they should do?
I would say first, definitely to pray about it and make sure that it's a God thing and not a you thing, because like I said, it's really hard. And I think some people get wrapped up in the whole, oh, it's cute if I have an adopted kid, or it's cute if I have a baby of a different race. But I mean, it's more than just cute. It's like a lifetime commitment, and it's hard. So, but if God's in it with you, then obviously it's going to work out. And then, I mean, yeah, that's where I would start.
And, you know, like I said before, it's a willing heart. And so whatever God is asking us to do, we should have a willing heart. And, he's got that baton. He's ready to hand it off to you. And sometimes, again, it's not the strong, it's the willing to say, I'll take it. But it needs to be bathed in prayer and support. I mean, church, that's part of what church is for, is to support, to encourage, to help, to guide, and we find a lot of that here with this body, the support, the help. There's some adoption groups that, especially Mandy, that she's involved in, and there's help, and you can talk through the issues. And so, yeah.
Several families here in the church have adopted, and so if that's on your heart, if that's something that's, man, all of a sudden it's like it's even stirred up in you right now, grab Brian and Angela, or Luke and Robin, or Becky and Chris, and you guys, and there are probably others of you in here that I'm missing, but make sure, like, there's resources here, right? Real people that will help you and encourage you down that road. Thanks so much. That's Tim and Mandy.